All right. And this last topic, Dwayne Wade, every time he talks, and this is old, this is like 2 years old. This is him going on the Knuckleheads podcast, but I just now ran across this. Now I did a video a couple of months ago where Dwayne Wade was recently on a podcast. I can't remember which one. And he talked about how they almost had the deal done for Chris Paul to come to Miami. This is when they had Bosh and LeBron already. They was about to figure out a way to get CP3. And he said the only reason why the trade fell through is because they couldn't figure out who was going to wear number 3, Wade or CP3. And that was that's how that fell through. Right. Other than that, we might have seen, and I'm not sure if Chris Bosh would have had to be part of that trade. It would have been dumb for them to get rid of a power forward that could help spread the floor to make LeBron's offensive system work. It would have been crazy for them to get rid of him. So I'm thinking they was probably going to get rid of other pieces and other draft picks to get CP3. And I don't know what CP3 contract situation was. I don't think he was on a max deal at that point. So it may have worked, but it looked like they was going to have not a super team, but a super duper team with CP3, Wade, Bosh, and LeBron. Now, Dwayne Wade telling us about another super duper team that almost came into existence. And I'm like, man, what was these dudes thinking? They was just looking at all the good players and saying, if I go play with them, we can get rings. Like, that's what they was thinking. They wasn't thinking about the grind and earning it. They was thinking about, look, man, let's just stack the squad and the end result would be rings, and they'll have to talk about us with Kobe and Mike. Listen to how he broke this down.
I'm like, cool, let's do it.
Let me ask you this. Could it have been another team?
Yeah.
Oh, so it could have been another team.
It could have been.
So
you know what I'm saying? Like,
it wasn't just Miami that this could have worked in. It could have worked.
Miami was the only, I don't know if it was, I don't know, but I know at the time when we were trying to make a decision of what city we wanted to play in or what we wanted to be, like, we had to keep our options open to these other. Chicago was on the top of both of our lists.
Yeah.
So it was pretty much Chicago. Miami was on the top. But, like, we looked at New York.
Yeah.
The possibility, because if we're going to ride together, if we're going to play together, let's see what these other cities got to offer. So Chicago at the time, they had to offer, they had 2 max contracts, and they had a young D Rose before the MVP Rose, the season before. They had a Luol Deng, they had Noah, they had, they had all these pieces. So I'm like, in the city, in Chicago, in one of the biggest markets.
That would have been crazy.
Yeah.
But then it was like, you and D Rose, that's a lot. It's one ball. We all need it.
Yeah.
That may be too much. You know what I'm saying?
Y'all play defense, though.
Yeah, but we thought about it. But then it was like, Miami, to their credit, they did it to where they had enough money to get 3 max players. They messed the game up.
They flushed the house.
Yeah, so it was like, wait, we can get somebody else too.
Let's flush the toilet. Let's start all over.
Start all over. So it was like, cool. So then, like, we just trying to sit and decide. Like, once it came down to, like, okay, who else we would love to play with? And once it came down, we would love to play with, like, CB. Like, when we sit down and thought about this, what player can match out? Who matches us?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Amari, man, Amari good, but man, we all alphas. That ain't gonna work.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, egos may get in the way. Yeah. Who knows? So we had to sit down and think about this. Yeah. And when it came out to Miami was the only team that had enough money to get all 3 of us. Yeah. Every other team could have did 2.
Yeah.
But like, once again, the point was like, yo, CB is the perfect match.
Out of everybody else,
Miami was a no-brainer for them.
He was perfect. Like, I couldn't see too many other people fitting that void with you and LeBron. That can kind of fit in, take the shots that everybody gonna throw him.
Because they was all they was doing. They were taking shots at him, and like other guys couldn't take that.
Toronto rafted Chris Bosh.
Monster.
Ass.
Monster.
You hear me?
So there you got it. This is D Wade coming out and saying, "Man, we was almost in Chicago with D Rose, so it would have been D Rose, who I want to say D Rose might have been possibly still on his rookie contract." So I don't think he was on a max deal, but maybe he was on a max deal. I don't know. So maybe he was on a max deal, but they had room for, he said, 2 max players, which would have been him and LeBron. So they wouldn't have had Chris Bosh. So it would have been D Rose, LeBron James, D Wade, Joakim Noah, and Luol Deng. And then he also said that they tried to get CP3 on Miami. And Carmelo Anthony also said that it was supposed to be him in the big three and not Bosh. What the heck was these dudes doing? Seriously, what was they doing? What was they trying to do? Did they look back at how Mike did it and say, I got to do it that way so I can, I mean, because obviously LeBron wanted to be compared to Mike. You get what I'm saying? Like if Michael Jordan climbed Mount Everest and all he had was the basic tools to climb Mount Everest, and he got praised for getting to the top of Mount Everest with the basic tools. If you want to be praised similar to Mike, you got to get to the top of Mount Everest by doing it the way Mike did it in order for it to be as impressive. The only thing you can do different is say, I'm going to do it with less tools than Mike did. So give me half of the tools that he had, and I want to get to Mount Everest and see if I can impress y'all. But if you can't do it with less than what Mike had, and when I say the basic tools, Mike had one co-star that was an all-star caliber player. But we can upgrade Pippen and call him a superstar. I do that. I will call, for the purpose of this conversation, let's call Pippen a superstar. So every superstar that wants to win should have a co-star or a superstar as a co-star, or all-star as a co-star at least, because Elijah won one, and he didn't have a superstar co-star. His co-star, his number 2 was Vernon Maxwell, and he wasn't even an all-star for his first one. So, I mean, it depends on who you think his co-star was. Was it the rookie Robert Horry? Was it the second-year player Sam Cassell? Was it Kenny Smith? Was it Vernon Maxwell? Was it Otis Thorpe? None of those guys were all-stars, but Elijah won a ring with one of those guys. Now, I would say Vernon Maxwell was his co-star, not an all-star. He was good. He could shoot. He was tough. He played great defense, but he wasn't an all-star. Then he got to Clyde Drexler the next year, and he won with Drexler. So let's say Drexler's a superstar on pace with Scottie Pippen. So that's matching up. So Olajuwon did it with 0 all-stars, and then he did it with a superstar, right? So that's how I look at that. So the basic things is your co-star at least need to be an all-star. Can I get an all-star co-star? That's what Michael Jordan had. That's the basics. LeBron James said, I don't want to do it with an all-star co-star, because that's what Mo Williams was, an all-star. I don't want to do it with an all-star co-star. I want to do it with a superstar as my co-star, and then I want to go get an extra superstar in Chris Bosh. And then I want to go get another superstar past his prime in Ray Allen and put him on my bench. And then I want to go get another former all-star in Rashard Lewis from Orlando. And then I want to go get Mike Miller, who's a French all-star. And I want to put all that on my squad, right? And before he got all of that, he said, maybe we could do Luol Deng, Joakim Noah, D Rose, and Wade. And he probably still would have bought Ray Allen out there the next year after they failed as well. So he's thinking that as long as I get to Mount Everest, it don't matter how I got there. Mike got there with the basic tools. I'm going to get a helicopter. Like John Stockton said, LeBron James took a helicopter to the top of Mount Everest. And the only thing as fans and as NBA media, the only thing that we're counting is how many times he got to Mount Everest. He got to Mount Everest 4 times, but we're not counting the fact that he took an elevator there. And the guy that he wanted to be compared to only had the basic tools. Make that make sense. I'm going to take an elevator there, and I can only get there 4 times. Not an elevator, but a helicopter. I'm taking a helicopter to the top of Mount Everest. I only got there 4 times, but this guy that I want to be compared to had the basic tools, and he got there 6 times. And the dude that I had to play against in my era, who also was mimicking Michael Jordan, got there 5 times with the basic tools. He only had another guy, and it was 2 superstars, Shaq and Kobe. He got 3 with that. Then he got 2 with an all-star. So Kobe he played with Shaq, but he was considered the number 2 or the Scottie Pippen. And he didn't like that reputation that he was getting or gaining, or he didn't like the fact that he was the number 2. So he said, look, by any means necessary, either I'm leaving LA or he leaves LA, but I got to show the world that I can do it the way Michael Jordan did it with the basic tools, which is just another all-star co-star. So he went through his process, and then he got his co-star, and then he won the first year. He got his co-star, and then he won the second year. Well, no, I'm lying. The first year he got his co-star, he lost in the finals. Then he won the second year, and then he won the third year. So he went 3 straight finals with this co-star. As soon as he got an all-star co-star, those are the basics. LeBron is trying to win with more than the basics. He's trying to get to the top of Mount Everest with more than the basics, but he still want to be compared to the guys that got there more than him with less. That's my thoughts. Phone lines are open. Taking 3 phone calls. Let me know what y'all think about the fact that D Wade and LeBron was about to go over to the Bulls and try to form a super team with D Rose. I mean, that would have been crazy, because the only competition in the East that gave them any headaches in the East was the D Rose Bulls. And if they would have joined him, they would have been beaten up on poor little Carmelo and poor little Chris Bosh in Toronto. Super duper teams are crazy. Let's get one phone call in here, though. Let's get one phone call. That is crazy, man. Chris. Chris, we're gonna do the post game on a separate stream, Chris. I'm gonna make that. But yeah, since I'm not getting any phone calls for that, appreciate y'all for joining. I appreciate the super chat. I appreciate the phone calls that we got. Definitely appreciate all the comments. I couldn't get to all of them, but that's my spiel on that, man. Hope y'all enjoyed the stream. I catch y'all on the post game. We got to react to Minnesota and Dallas. So we'll be reacting to that in about 10 minutes.